All right, next up we got the Jersey Devil. So the opening is in like the 40s or something. This guy is taken, his legs are ripped off. His search party goes out for him, sees something, kills this thing in a cave. Then X amount of years later, another man is torn apart, and they come to investigate. When Scully enters his office, Mulder is looking at pornography. He's looking at like a Playboy. I was like, holy shit, all right, here we go. And she's like making jokes about it, and that dialogue between them is really funny. And he says something about like she was suspended in weightlessness or something like that, or gravity or anti-gravity or something, and she like looks at it and her tits are so perky. We don't get to see the tits, but it's implied by Dana's joke about like it definitely lack of gravity or something. I thought that was a really cute line. But I guarantee you she looks just as good. Yes, I'm going to talk about Scully being hot in every single one of these videos. I don't think I did in the last one though, so you got to pass there. So they go down to investigate. They get kind of told off. Cop tells them to get lost. Mulder wants to stay, and Scully's like, but Mulder, like, I don't want to drive 3 hours back in Friday traffic without you. She's so bummed that he doesn't want to come with her, and he's like, no. So he takes off, and he talks to this park ranger who is a total believer, but he doesn't want to say anything because he doesn't want to fuck with his job. And then Scully is down there at her sister's house. Her sister has some kids. They're having a birthday party. She meets this guy who her sister's like, he's divorced. And it's like, oh, great. Wonder why he's divorced, because he's a dick. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, probably. And yeah, she agrees to go on a date with him, which, kind of takes Mulder aback. He's like, you can just see it. It goes throughout this whole thing. And her sister even asks, like, well, what about that guy you work with? And she's like, he's a jerk. And she's like, oh, he's not a jerk. He's just obsessed with his work. She's still mad at him for making him drive back for 3 hours by herself there. But you can see that she's at least contemplated it, but she knows that it won't work. But at the same time, like, so is she. So they're kind of the perfect couple. But you don't want to mix that up with work, trust me. I've done it. It's stupid. Don't date people you work with, people. Trust me. Let's see. And so Mulder finds this homeless man who gives him the lowdown. So Mulder gives him his keys to his hotel and is like, go shack up there. I'm going to stay in your place since this is where you're seeing all the action. So he sits there and he waits. And I do like that when the bum goes to leave to go to his hotel, he asks if they have HBO, which... like, if you go back to when I was watching Tales from the Crypt, every chance they got, they plugged their own show and their own network. They would always use HBO and they would always use Tales from the Crypt as references to TV shows, whatever. And this could have been like, hey, like, do they have Fox? I love that channel or something. It could have been very meta in that moment. I'm glad they didn't go that direction at all. Plus, it probably would have been a little confusing since Mulder's name is Fox. But I just kind of found that funny that they went for more HBO. But yeah. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about a bed and fucking shower and all that. He just wants to watch movies. And I get that, people. Let me tell you what. And then, so Fox sees the woman. And he tries to chase her down. He sees her on the thing, whistles. She looks back. The cops arrest him thinking he's like a crazy homeless man, brings him in jail. And, the sheriff comes and he's like, what the fuck are you still doing here? And Mulder's like, you know about this. You're just covering it up because you don't want to scare away tourism, which is very Jaws-like when the mayor's like, oh, hell no, we don't got no problem here. We got, spring or summer, whatever, coming in. No way. Or is it like, what is it? Memorial Day? Independence Day? Fuck, now I can't remember and I look like an idiot. I should know my Jaws better than that. Memorial Day. Labor Day? Oh, fuck. I suck. Anyway. And yeah, so he's bitching at him, then he calls Scully from the drunk tank, and Scully has to come and bail him out. Well, they let him go, so she just has to pick him up. And that's where she tells him he has a date. She has a date, and he's like, what the hell? And she's like, unlike you, Mulder, I'd like to have a life. And he's like, I have a life, and they kind of laugh about it. Yes, as I said, there's such great chemistry between them, just like comedically, but also, you know, they kind of got a little bit of romantic chemistry. They got it all. They're such a good duo on screen. Then we get to see Scully on a date, and she's all done up, and her hair is all hot, and she's in this dress. Oh man, she is. And Scully gets interrupted while she's on this date, and she doesn't even like. She gets a beep. And Mulder's just saying, like, it's not like he has some big thing. He just is like, he's like, well, what if what we're looking for isn't a guy, it's a girl? Like, that's not really that important. But she doesn't seem miffed by it at all. And when she has the chance to go out with him again later, she opts to go with Mulder to do more investigating. And he asks her, it's not like she just blew him off for the night. Like, he's like, you gonna be seeing him again? She's like, I don't think so. And they seem to have a really good time together, but I think this is just her, you know, showing that she just doesn't want to be with anyone but Mulder. I think it's just very apparent from the beginning. And so they go to this expert, and he is telling them, him and Mulder are kind of hashing out the believability of the Jersey Devil, or this Neanderthal, or just this feral person who could possibly be out there in the wilderness of New Jersey. And he says, like, it's possible, it's highly unlikely, but it's within the realms of reality. So they go out looking for this thing. They try to get it. The cops keep coming in and screwing things up, and they shoot it with a tranq dart that would put a 500-pound bear to sleep for an hour. But that's not good enough for the cops. They have to go and kill her, which I thought was kind of interesting, because like, this chick is naked. She has no clothes on or anything. She's running around, and they have to show her from so many different angles. And they have to show her on the ground. They have to show her running. That must have been a bitch, man. That must have been tough to do without showing her naked, because this is Fox, and they can't show people naked. So I was just like, man, that must have been really tough to have a naked character for, you know, a good amount of scenes and never see her actually naked. Kind of like Janet Leigh in Psycho or something, where you just got to use those real clever angles. Or cover her hair up with cover her tits up with dirty hair. And yeah, so they shoot her dead, and Mulder's just like, you son of a bitch, you didn't have to do that. And then they leave, and they go off and investigate something else. And just like Mulder had expected, the girl had given birth, like Scully had confirmed. Like, it looked like she did have gave birth at one point. And we pan over to see a kid, at least. We don't know if there's multiple ones or just one, but there's a kid living out there on a hiking trail. So hopefully that kid got picked up. It'll be like that movie Mama or something, or that movie Nell with Jodie Foster. Except for she won't go to like some pool hall and show her boobies off to everybody. All right, anyways, let's move on.